Hi, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. I hope you're doing well and that you're getting all your e-learning done. Now it's time for a movement break, so I'm going to want you to stand up and we're going to go over some things today. This video is about reviewing your types of shapes. First thing I want you to remember is that number 1, shapes are frozen and shapes are still. They're like a statue, so they do not move. The next thing I want you to remember is that dance shapes are not like your regular shapes. We don't have curves or triangles or squares. Okay? Dance only has 4 types of shapes you can make in your body. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to review those 4 types of shapes that you would have learned in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade. So some of you should know these shapes really well. We review them almost every year. So let's go ahead and get started. So stand up, show me you're ready, and let's get moving. So the first type of shape we have is going to be a straight shape. When you make a straight shape in your body, there are no bends and curves. Remember that you can make these types of shapes at all different levels. So our first one is straight. Our second one is the opposite of straight. I want you to try and think of what that is. Very good. The opposite of straight is bent. This is when your body is going to have angles. You see the point in my elbow and the bends in my knees. I can also bend my fingers, my back, or my neck and make a more creative bent shape. So we have straight and we have bent. The third shape is a curve shape. When you make curve shapes, your body is going to be rounded. Try not to only do this in your arms, but in your legs and back as well. Be as curved and as rounded as possible. Now our very last shape, and my favorite shape, is your twisted shapes. Twisted shapes are going to wind or weave, or your body parts are going to cross one another. So one more time, let's do all 4. You have straight shapes, bent shapes, curved shapes, and twisted shapes. Now, some of you have heard me talk about 2 other shapes you can make in your body. And if you haven't, we're going to learn about those kinds of shapes today. These are also shapes that you may have heard of in math class. These shapes are called symmetrical shapes and asymmetrical shapes. Let's start with a symmetrical shape. A symmetrical shape, first you have to know where your axis is. The axis in our body is an imaginary line that runs straight down the center of our body. So if we cut ourselves right in half, that would be our axis. Remember, it's imaginary, so there is no pole inside our body. It is not our back. It is something that is imaginary. When you make a symmetrical shape, your body is going to look the same on both halves. Right now, I am in a symmetrical shape because this side of my body looks the same as this side of my body. This is also a symmetrical shape. So is this. Now, if you were going to make an asymmetrical shape, we'd still think about that line of symmetry, but this side would be different than this side. Right now, I'm in an asymmetrical shape. This is also an asymmetrical shape. This is a third asymmetrical shape. Now, I have shown you symmetrical, which is the same on both sides, and asymmetrical, which is different on both sides. Before we move on, I'm going to show you some shapes and see if you can guess which one I am. You call it out. Number 1. Very good, symmetrical. Number 2. Good, asymmetrical. Number 3. Symmetrical. And number 4. Symmetrical, very good. Now, before I leave today, I'm going to give you a little game that you can play with a friend, practicing all 4 of your shapes, as well as asymmetrical shapes and symmetrical shapes. It is called Shape Museum. And for this game, you're going to need a partner again. And so I'm going to bring in my partner, Miss Dorothea, who you saw last time. Hi. Everybody say hi, Miss Dorothea. Now, when you play Shape Museum, one person is going to be the artist and one person is going to be the clay. Today, I will be the artist and Miss Dorothea is going to be my clay. What the artist is going to do is lightly move the clay's body into a shape. Now, when you do this, make sure you're lightly tapping and pushing. You would not want to yank your partner. That would ruin your clay. If you want them to bend their knees, you can lightly tap on the back of their knees to make them do that. Now, I have made my shape with my clay. Can anybody guess? Is it a symmetrical or asymmetrical shape? Let's look. Very good. It is a symmetrical shape because if we cut Miss Dorothea in half, this side is going to be the same as that side. Now, once you play one time, you can switch roles, and the clay can now be the artist, and the artist can now be the clay. All right, so that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a lot of fun practicing your shapes. I'll see you soon, friends.